she's going to laugh at my Excel document.
That's a huge statement.
Why couldn't Ainsley do bowling?
That's Joe.
That's Rooster.
And this is the Together We Shall podcast. 62, man. Yeah, we're kicking this off. What's happening?
Not much, man. Not much.
Well, there's a lot going on over here. I can tell you that right now. You want to guess all the things that are going on right now?
Personally or professionally?
Both.
Professionally, we're wrapping up our audit, which is always a good time, right? Transparency is key, so this is a good thing for us to do. Personally, you have I think a trip coming up with Lori, a little getaway. Remember and honor Ainsley. Up in the wherever. I'm not going to say where you're going or when you're going because operational security.
Yes. I appreciate that, Marine.
It could be next week. It could be in 3 weeks. I don't know, but it's up.
So it's funny, not funny. It's awesome. Hamden contacted us this way. I got some leave and I'm coming home. And I'm like, whoa, this is awesome. Great. So the Ainsley's passing away of 10 years ago. He's like, I'm coming home. It's a big deal. And I'm coming. And Briley heard he was coming. And so she's coming. So the whole weekend is going to have like all four of us plus the dog and Ainsley and her little, resting place nearby in our living room. And we'll enjoy. And yes, Lori and I are going to then make a trip because Briley's taking Rocky home with her. So it's going to be like honeymooners, man. True empty nest. No dog, no kids. What's up?
Yeah. I'm a long way away from that. So I don't know what that. But I love that for you. I love that for you.
What was that text I said to you? We are in totally different places in our journey, sir.
Yes. Yes, we are.
But you mentioned the audit, man. That's a big deal, dude. And like for those that don't know about like running a business, whether that's a for-profit, nonprofit, they're both businesses. In the business for-profit side, you either have a private business or a public business. And your business is public on the for-profit. That means you're publicly traded. So like the SEC, they're in your weeds. Your board is asking you all sorts of questions. In the private business space, you have a little bit more privacy, I guess, and decisions to do some things, but you're still on report from time to time. In the nonprofit space, if you're a public charity and you operate across many states, you have to get permission from those states to operate. And the only way you can get permission is if you turn in an audit, which means every single penny down to the ink pen is accounted for.
I'm glad you mentioned pen because that's always the fun one.
I know, right? The auditors come in to look at everything in the Finish Line store. Oh, wait, did I say Finish Line store? Yes, we have new merchandise. And if you're seeing on YouTube my new quarter zip, I love it. So rather than get into all the new merchandise, I'll give a shameless plug. Ainsley'sAngels.org, shop in the upper right. Finish Line store will pop up, and there's a button that says newest items. And guess what, man? I think I'm going to add new items like every week for the next 6 weeks. I think I can pull that off because we just got a big order of things. Yeah.
Colorful too.
Yes. Colors, all the spring and winter. It's there's some neat stuff. So I'll belabor that. Okay. We need to get into the episode, but like, I do want to say that when we reflect upon the fact that it's January 2026, years ago to when Ainsley had passed, we launched this thing last night, a new video series last week or last month, I think, called 10 Years Later. And it basically examines all of our content on YouTube that happened 10 years ago. So if our listeners are just hearing this, please go over to the YouTube channel for Ainsley's Angels and click on the 10 Years Later video. It's 35 minutes of nostalgia, looking at episode looking at 2016 content. But we're going to do one a month. So on March 7th at 8 p.m. Eastern, you can join us on a premiere on YouTube where we all watch this at the same time. Did I say something wrong? March 7th, 8 o'clock.
I hope I'm March 6th.
Well, I don't know, man. Like that was the plan initially because we would be together that Friday night. But what went out in the email was Saturday, March 7th.
Yeah.
So
I should read those emails.
Yeah, I'm going with March 7th. Anyway, why am I telling everybody this? Because I'm excited about the video series, and Joe loves that from me also.
That's right.
I want people to get involved in it, though. Like, submit questions on the YouTube channel, on the video, about things you want featured and guests you want spotlighted. Like, I don't know. Spotlight
That-
Saturday
And
is
that's
not
how
back.
people that's what they got to do. Comment
Yeah.
on the video.
Yeah, just go to the YouTube. It's free. Like anybody can go to YouTube and comment on the video. Now, to comment on a video, you have to have an account, which, whatever. Make an account. I mean, Google's already got all your information and Google owns YouTube. So I don't know what the problem is here. Anyway, dude, like that's a whole lot of chatting. But I do, before we introduce Teri to everybody, what comes to your 10 years ago? Like, we're not talking about, oh my gosh, Joe, my daughter passed away, come over to my house. But like, what in February of 2016 really stands out? And I think I know what you're going to say, but I'm curious.
I mean, honestly, the only thing that does stand out is, Ainsley's transition and passing, but more importantly, probably the event down at the beach, which was at the end of 10 years later, and kind of taking the spear-ish, if you would, on trying to organize that. With a lot of help from Peggy and some other folks, but that was neat to see everyone come together, to remember Ainsley down at the beach where she had her first race.
Yeah. Yeah. And you referred to 10 years later, just now, the video series. At the end of episode 1, I go back to the spot where we had the celebration of life that you're referring to now. Man, you were talking about just emotions, all the emotions, like crying emotions, but also just like proud, to say, gosh, look how far 10 years has taken us on this legacy ride. Really, really special stuff. I thought you were going to say the week prior to her transition, because that was the one time that you got to like actually run with her, like, and push the chair the whole time almost.
Yeah. There's that Lori took a picture, right?
Yeah.
One time about going through the neighborhood. Yep.
Yeah.
I remember. Right, it was like a random, because it's February, a random warm day, and I don't know, you call her, you're like, we're going running, come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a freak warm day, probably exactly like as I'm speaking, like 10 years and maybe 3 days ago. And you came over, and Ashton came over, and Holden, and we went out and we did a run. Yeah, that was our final run. Like, who knew? Because I went up to Quantico a couple of days later, and obviously the rest of the story's documented. But I thought that's where you were going to go. But yes.
Yeah. So that was her final run. What was her final race?
Oh wow, I see what she did there. Final 100th race was the Marine Corps Marathon. And what's crazy is you finish on a hill at the Iwo Jima Memorial, the U.S. Marine Corps War Memorial, which that flag was raised on February 23rd, 1945. And here she goes ahead and passes away on February 23rd, the same day. And it was her 100th race. It was her final race. And it's such a special race. In fact, I think we're going to talk about that race with our guest today. So, Joe, before you go into all the things, let's bring Teri in. Teri's coming to us from somewhere. I don't know where. She's going to tell us. She's been so calm and patient listening to us banter. Teri Durrin, welcome to the Together We Shall podcast.
Hey, good morning, guys. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor.
Where
you made me a little emotional.
Yeah, hey, that's the thing about the Together We Shall podcast. It's highs and it's lows and it's all the feels. We promised that 60 something episodes ago, and I think I've probably had my eyes water every episode since we started this, and I think it's beautiful. But yeah, welcome to jump in here. I'd like to know where are you? Tell people what your name is and like what you do, and then like why do you think you're on the podcast?
Good morning. My name is Teri Durrin, most commonly known to everybody in our world as the chair lady. I don't have a name when I go to events. It's, oh, you're the chair lady, which, I mean, I've just kind of adopted that. That's great. I and Adaptive Star are located in Washington State. I'm coming to you from home in Selah, Washington. And really, I think the reason I'm here is we share a passion and a mission. And had a connection many years ago. And we have the honor of helping Ainsley's Angels with their race chair equipment.
I love that. Perfect. Great. It sounds like you've introduced yourself before, chair lady. That was good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned Marine Corps Marathon a second ago, and I'd be remiss if I didn't just quickly jump on this big announcement. Teri was asked if she would like to support our efforts at Marine Corps, and in a special way. So for the first time in our journey in the Marine Corps Marathon kind of chapters of life, we are having someone, in this case, Adaptive Star, be the sponsor for our Charity Hill team tent. So Teri has agreed to do that, not only with monetary support, but with, I understand, your presence. You're going to come to our Runners Village charity tent and be there to see the 50 chairs lined up the race morning, wish our riders off, see our runners come back. Like, wow.
I am very excited. It was asked. Thank you guys. The Marine Corps is huge in our family. Rooster, you're aware. Joe, I don't know if you are, but my family is a 4-generation Marine Corps family. Starting with my great grandfather, who was actually a China Marine.
Wow.
Yeah. My grandfather, who was in World War II. My father, who was in Vietnam. My brother, who was in Afghanistan and Iraq. Your guys' paths probably crossed in odd ways with my brother. So the fact that I get to be there, we get to sponsor the tent, I get to be there with Ainsley's Angels with you guys. And my brother hasn't heard this until now. If he listens to the podcast, I'm trying really hard to get him to come with me.
No, that's awesome. And he should, Marine. You absolutely should, Devil Dog. I don't know why you haven't booked your flight yet. All right, Joe, go ahead. You got stuff to say, man.
Yeah, I do have a lot to say. Well, not a lot, but yeah, I don't think I knew that, Teri, about the 4 generations. And if I did, I forgot, and I apologize. That's awesome. I'm number 3. I'm the 3rd generation, and I think it's going to stop with me. Not necessarily because I don't think either of my boys will join the military, but I'm going to probably do a little of the rooster and nudge them into other branches as those branches evolve a little bit, dare I say, better than the Marine Corps. So we'll see.
To do
I
the
guess what
same.
happens.
He failed.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's tough. I mean, they're 8 and 6, so like when they do all those things, when I grow up, I want to be a policeman, firefighter, or Marine. Like it rotates through, and I think that's probably the standard kid answer. But anytime I'm at their school for like the Veterans Day thing and like talking with the other kids, like after that, they're like, "I'm gonna be a Marine," and I'm like, we also have at least 10 years before that's gonna happen, so we have some time.
You have a lot of life to go through with those boys. Like Rooster, we are empty nesters. Our girls are in their 30s. I'm a grandma. My granddaughter is 7.
Wow.
So that's a whole different phase of life. So, at home we have dogs, a cat, and goats.
Goats. There's something for you, Joe. Goats. What do you think about those
I
guys?
don't know. Is it? I don't know. Is it a domesticated goat? Is that a thing? Or do you live on a farm?
They're pets. We have 5 of them. They're not. We don't milk them. We do not eat them.
Clarity.
That's
Clarity.
We've had them all since they were babies. It's great. They share my coffee, my cocktail, my beer, whatever I'm drinking, they share.
I love that. And that's awesome because it's time for Miller time. Ladies and gentlemen, it's that favorite part of my show, where we get to invite you to grab your favorite beverage. And if you're too fed, look over at your caregiver and say, hit the daggone button. I want to partake here. Favorite beverage time. So, Teri, what'd you bring to the Together We Shall podcast? Miller time, as you're coming to us from 7 a.m.
I know. Shh. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, let me tell you.
What you got there?
Staple in our refrigerator, a little Henry's Weinhardt.
Wait, what is it? Tell me more. You said wine?
No, it's a beer. Henry Weinhardt beer.
Dude, I didn't know we were doing that. Okay. Joe, you go. I got to go grab something different.
Is that?
I also have coffee.
I'm Googling it. It is. It's wait. Top Valley Brewing. This messed me up. I don't think we've ever had official. I don't know what to do right now.
I know, like an official Miller time. Like the guest showed up with alcohol infused beverage, which I'll talk about that all day. People have no idea what's been going on in my world. I have suddenly increased my palate beyond Miller Lite and Coors Light, and I have entered the midlife crisis bourbon phase.
Oh.
Yes. Wow. And meanwhile, Joe can't help himself. He's departing. He's like, oh, somebody
I'm a
just gave
bad
me an excuse.
influence. Sorry. You
Yeah,
took Miller
no,
time.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, geez. Like to the point where, yeah, I'm doing the color thing, the nose, the palette.
Look at this silly-ish decanter that I received.
Mm. The finish is good. Yeah, a marine decanter. How perfect is that? Well, that was a fun little pivot. Gosh, Terry, we're gonna have fun when you come to the Marine Corps Marathon. Joe, what can we do if we have a guest that wants to come to the Marine Corps Marathon with us in October?
There's a lot of things you can do. You can go to our website, Ainsley'sAngels.org/run with the Marines. You can comment anywhere you're listening to any of this podcast or watching on YouTube. And maybe the easiest is just email Joe at Ainsley'sAngels.org.
There you go. And the
hope
same
to
would
see you
apply.
there.
The same would apply if you wanted to also sponsor some of our team there. Like Terry's got the tent, but we also have a couple other spots. Our dinner, our social gathering. There's other opportunities. So if you want to know what those are, hit Joe up. He's got like a one pager,
Yeah,
which is cool. Yeah.
it's very cool.
It's very cool. It's fancy. The Marcom crew, Amanda and team, like immerse themselves into some cool graphics and things.
I know, and like you said, I mean, the first time we've kind of done that, and Terry jumped on right away as the first backer. So that's awesome.
There you go. So if you want to be like Terry and back some of our Marine Corps Marathon charity team initiatives and efforts that weekend, let us know. Very cool. Terry, this is cool. So let's have some fun now. So let's take ourselves, as if we didn't have fun already. Let's take ourselves back to your very first memories of, I don't know, engaging with, encountering with, whether it's Ainsley's Angels or me or a chair. Like what, if you take it all the way back, where do you land?
Where do I land? Well, let's see. It would maybe be the first Rooster phone call.
Oh my.
There was a time you would call our office and they're like, it's Rooster. Oh, okay. It's Rooster.
So the person that answered was just like frantic?
Yeah, yes, a bit. They're like, it's Rooster. I've got to get straight. I wasn't at my desk. If I wasn't in the office, it was like, you have your Marine Corps commanding voice. And it's changed over the last 13 years. You're not quite as intense.
Are you calling me a bully, like an aggressive phone call person here?
No, you just have a commanding voice.
Very well.
Bully.
Okay. So everybody would drop what they're doing, find Terry. If she was on the beach or climbing a mountain, they'd call her cell phone.
Yeah, it was. I'm like, yes, he's Rooster. He's a Marine. He can be a little intimidating, but he's a human, and we're all doing this for the same reason. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Yes.
So those were, that was the beginning stages of our relationship. Talking about equipment, answering questions, developing a program, and then Louisiana Marathon 2015. Boom.
That's right. And what a point in our journey, Joe. Like that was a pivotal event for us. We had just made the decision to create our ambassador program, to create structure behind it and policy and procedure. And from that day when we met Terry, we were at about a dozen ambassadorships. And today it's almost 60. Like metrics, but don't worry about the metric, just reflect on the growth. And the key to the growth, there's a lot of keys, but one of them has been you can't have an ambassadorship without a partner who is able to provide, when you need it, the proper equipment. So Adaptive Star does that. And so when I would call Terry, it was about the equipment so that we could get it to the ambassador so the riders could roll. But there's a bunch of pieces of equipment. So for our listeners, like what does Adaptive Star make? What do you got?
Sometimes they say what don't we make might be easier, but that's a whole other thing.
Well, okay, so do that for for me. Blow our mind and tell something you make that perhaps is an adaptive thing. If you can do that.
We do a reversible gait trainer. Right
Yes.
now it's in the custom stages for those who cannot find the reversible gait trainer that they need.
Okay.
It's out at certain sizes.
Mhm.
And then like a lot of things in the medical world, it's developed, but it's not dialed into what the person really needs.
Mhm.
And in our world, as you know, you're told, oh, this will work, it'll be fine. That doesn't exist. You'll make this work.
So where I was going with that is at one point you shared with me, maybe it was in confidentiality, that there's this thing that you make for a certain client. And I don't know, like, if you still do that or if you can even tell us, but like, hopefully I'm not going to keep my listeners hanging here. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Are we talking about the jail card?
Yes. That. Tell us the story about the jail card.
Oh man.
Like, go back.
A guy saw our race chair somewhere and he needed a cart, a wheeled conveyance to move prisoners in the federal and state prison system.
like
And he's like, can you do this for us? Well, it's tubing and wheels and sure, why not? We'll look at it. Joe's like, what?
well, instantly, and I don't know why my brain I think back to Silence of the Lambs, and they wheeled him out in that big thing, and he's wheeled, and there's chains everywhere. I'm like, that's what you make those? Those are still used? Oh my
Let's just
god!
go with that. Let's go with that. She made Hannibal
I mean,
Lecter's.
you can go with that, but no. In the prisons, when you're really bad, they put you in this thing called the wrap, and it's not like the white coat, but it wraps your hands are behind your back. It wraps your body from like your waist to your feet, and they had handles on it, and it has a tether from like they chain you from a carrot or something on your chest to your feet too, so you're like confined. And they were moving these prisoners just by picking them up with these handles. And Joe's like, whoa.
I googled prison wrap, and
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
You should have did that in incognito mode, bro. What are you doing?
And so prison guards were getting hurt, inmates were getting hurt, and this guy invented and sold this thing to the prison. So we needed something to move the prisoners. So we've done this now for many years. We make these carts and we make them, we assemble them, we ship them, kind of similar to a program we do with you. And we've shipped them all over the world.
Yeah. So I couldn't remember if I had told Joe that I knew about this, and it's clearly I did not tell him that based on his response. So thank you for sharing that. It's such a cool little holy who would have thought. That's so cool. Yeah. I mean, we talk about like freedom that you get through movement. I don't know, man. We might be redefining that movement freedom connection. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, but
that's it was an interesting thing to Google, because I'm glad you said like not the white coat, because again, Hannibal Lecter, like that's where I'm going. But if you just Google prison wrap, and it's great, we've had some prison employees on the podcast before and have a handful of them across the family. The second image is an individual wrapped in a cart. I don't know if it's your cart, but it's interesting to Google later.
So like outside of I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
We had to go to a federal prison and take this cart through and show it to some of the jailers. And I've never been to a prison. I mean, I got a call from one of their superiors, and they're like, closed-toed shoes, jeans, conservative clothing, hair back, no perfume, no jewelry, no belt, no. I mean, I'm like, I was scared before I got there.
Yeah.
And we went through the facility, and it's intimidating.
Yeah. It's a standard case of we're telling you all these things because they have happened before. Like, we're not just making this stuff up. These are well, no, that's a cool little twist. So like outside of that, like y'all do a lot of things, but specifically in the adaptive space for Ainsley's Angels and many of our assisted athlete, chariot / endurance sport brother and sister organizations across the country. You've expanded your clientele. You don't just service Ainsley's Angels. We don't believe in exclusivity here, although you are exclusive charity tent partner sponsor for Marine Corps.
Love it. Thank
yes,
you.
but with that being said, what do you make for Ainsley's Angels? There's three major chairs that come to mind.
Mm-hmm. The very first chair we made for Ainsley's Angels, and we continue to make, is the Axiom Racer Conversion. And the second chair we started making for Ainsley's Angels is the Axiom Phoenix. And then the most recent chair that we make for Ainsley's Angels is the Axiom, you guys call it the AAA. We call it the Adrenaline.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if you've ever seen an Ainsley's Angels team out on a course in America, you've seen Teri's people's work. The one that I want to highlight a couple of them here, but the Axiom Racer Conversion, conversion means you can push it, be pulled by a rider, or you can connect it to the back of a bike. And the preponderance of our triathlon and duo bike events are done with that chair. So it's a cool concept. How long did it take for y'all to create, from an engineering standpoint, something that you could both push and pull behind a bike? That sounds like a pretty intense endeavor.
It is. There's a uniqueness to it. There's a lot of testing. There's a lot of safety protocols that we have behind that, which is why our design is the way that it is. So it took us a good couple of years before we really were launching it, beyond just some custom things.
Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of customing that can be done on the size of it, by the width, the weight max. And so we got a whole bunch of different types of axioms. When I say axiom, that's a big encyclopedia of data, and that's just scratching the surface. You all call a lot of your products Axiom something, like Axiom Phoenix, Axiom Racer. I've just removed the word Axiom from Phoenix. It's just the Phoenix. Yeah. But nevertheless, y'all customized one of those for us, the pink and the black with the Ainsley's Angels embroidered logo on the foot plate. All of those things are really special touches, and I guess I would say that I never imagined that we would get where we were with the Axiom Racer Conversion size 2 and 3 and the Axiom Phoenix customized colorized. I thought we were done. But then the AAA, what I call the Ainsley's Angels Adrenaline, what you call the Adrenaline. So there was a chair out there called the Adrenaline for Adaptive Star for years. And you shipped me one. You said, hey, this is a cool chair. Check it out. And I got it. I worked with it. And that got me to thinking, Teri, what can we do to make this thing unique to our needs? So that started the clock. And I've told people, quote, I worked with the engineers for over a year to where it is today. And I'm proud of that. But I didn't do much but say, hey, Teri, this is my specs and my needs. You had to work with the engineers. So tell us about the AAA, meaning the one that I ordered today. We have 50 of them. We've ordered about 25 of them. Tell me about that chair in your Adaptive Star journey. Frame it up.
I did. I sent that to you. It's a great chair. It feels very different than the conversion chair. I am not the runner that you are. I am the 5K girl. It is the ugliest run you've ever seen in your life.
No.
I have a story I'll tell you later about trying to catch Rooster.
Okay, we're getting there.
The Louisiana Marathon.
No, break breaks. Tell that story now. Nobody wants to hear about chair development.
Well, 2015 at Louisiana Marathon, and I'm going to run the 5K, and you put me with a group from Corpus Christi, Texas, Wings of Texas, and you're like, hey, they'll take care of you, they'll pair you up. So I get there early in the morning after drinking way too much Zip Fizz the night before.
It's funny you mentioned Zip Fizz because we were at the expo and Zip Fizz was right across from us. But it's also that expo that we met Jen and Beth, who became our ambassadors in SoCal. In fact, watch episode 2 of 10 years later. There might be a cameo from Jen and Beth. But also Seamus and Sean were there, at the expo, getting ready to run across the country. 10 years later, man. I digress. Back to you, Teri. Zip Fizz.
It's crazy. So I get there in the morning. It's freaking cold, colder than it's supposed to be. And Michelle is like, I put you with the boys, and I'm thinking some really, really old men that run really slow. Cause she asked me, what my pace was. And I'm like, I am like turtle slow. And I meet the boys, 4 young Marines.
The boys. Ready, go.
And what the came into my mind. And so, we're up there at the front and you take off like a bullet. And I'm like, and I'm super competitive and not real versed. I'm like, screw this.
Yeah.
I'll shoot out after you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the boys are like, yeah, this is gonna be great. She's got this. I died going up the hill. It sucks.
Yeah, the Louisiana Marathon says it's a flat course until you get to the one little overpass.
The overpass killed me. It killed me. And then one of the young Marines was very, very tall. And so he was getting a little bored and so he starts like dancing around us. I'm like, you are just peeing me off right now.
Yeah. No, that's great.
But
That's great.
that was, it was hilarious. Good memory.
Louisiana Marathon has a whole bunch of memories as we write, but my first memory from that weekend was, Teri, you picked us up and we had to get creative in the vehicle, and I was in the back, not necessarily secured.
In the backpack.
The backpack, yeah. And that's when I was like, all right, we're doing it, guys. It's real, right? And then the Zip Fizz. We were in Costco over the weekend, and on an end cap, Zip Fizz, and they're doing their samples. And Owen's like, can I have that? I'm like, whoa. Nope. Stay away. You will get addicted. No.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It was like the very first like 200 milligram caffeine, drink that you could like find anywhere. So back then Red Bull was it, and it was like 70, 80, 90s, and boom, Zip Fizz 200. And nowadays, like, our friends at Celsius, Peach Vibe, 200 milligrams. It's like, yeah. But wow, I thought Zip Fizz was gone, man. I'm surprised to hear you're now having to keep your kids away from it.
Yeah, they've been around for a long time, and it doesn't look like, I'm sure like ingredients have changed, but like the branding, everything still looks the same, which is very cool. But yeah, that hill, the only good thing about the 10K, I don't say the only thing, the benefits of the 10K, the half and the full at Louisiana Marathon is you get a break from that hill. You come over it at mile 1, but if you're doing the 5K, you're going to see it again in less than a mile, and you're like, I haven't recovered from it yet. The longer distances, you get to the flat area before you got to hit that thing again, dislike button for the hill.
But in comparison, it is one of the more flatter courses out there. In fairness to Fresh Junkie Racing, it is a flat course, less the one overpass. Fast forward or something, we're hanging out in episode 62 with Teri Durrin of Adaptive Star, and she's telling us all sorts of stories about things we never imagined, from jail carts to, I don't know,
Goats.
catching rooster in a 5K. What, Joe?
Goats.
Goats? Yeah, she's got goats. Teri, how did Adaptive Star? How did it become a thing? Like, this is your business, right? I believe you and your husband. What's the story? Tell me about Adaptive Star.
We're 17 years in. I'm not sure how that happened. Sometimes, just like everything in life, it went by in a blink of an eye, and sometimes it feels like it's been a lifetime. And it has. I mean, it's 17 years old. So at that point in our lives, we had met families that needed equipment. I had a family member that had some equipment needs, and we just couldn't find it. So Greg and I started talking, and we're entrepreneurial, and we're naturally people who want to help. And so we felt called to help the people that needed equipment that weren't getting it. And that's really where Adaptive Star started. From some custom chairs for a wonderful young woman. Her name is Riley. And in Riley's lifetime, we were able to make 5 chairs for her before she passed. And Riley and Ainsley passed within a year of each other. And the impact that little girl made on our life was I mean, I don't have words for it.
Beautiful.
So, and it's grown from there. We have a standard product line that we manufacture every day that is, a variation of the Phoenix. different names and different sizes and different colors. And, we ship those all over the world, internationally, domestically. And then we have our race chair series, and the race chair series really developed out of a fire department in Peoria, Illinois, wanting a race chair for a woman named Tammy. And her dad had been pushing her in a wheelchair and had an accident, because it wasn't conducive to that, So we knew of Dick and Rick. My husband, Greg, he actually worked for the original Baby Jogger company, who, when Dick and Rick were young in their running lives, made a chair for them. I don't know how long they used it. I've tried to find pictures and I haven't successfully done that. But what they ran in most of their time together was different than what anybody ran in. Ainsley had something similar. And we just took that and ran with it. And it developed over the request and need from families and runners and riders. And, Greg's an engineer. I went through credentialing to be an ATP. We continue to study and all of that to learn how we can help our community.
And help your community you are. My goodness. Do you happen to know how many chairs, whether it's Axiom Racers or Phoenixes or Triple A's or whatever, that you've shipped for Ainsley's Angels uniquely? Do you have any idea? What would you guess if you don't?
Oh, man. Let me see.
You're like, I need my Excel
Probably
spreadsheet.
close to 400.
Yeah,
I would say.
yeah, and I would probably even go higher than that. But yeah, because if you look at the bulk orders, I mean, the Phoenixes alone were up to like 100 and 130, 150 available. And the Axioms, we've done multiple purchases of those. Back then it was one at a time, then it was three at a time. Then now it's, I think, what was our last order, like 50 or 100 at a time? Yeah, I would say that we're well over 500, but the metric is not what I'm honing in on. It's, wow, what a body of work.
Yeah.
And now for you to go to Marine Corps Marathon up on the hill in the shadow of the Iwo Jima Memorial, that's pretty powerful. That's really cool.
It's the pictures that I get to see. Sometimes as a business owner, we're stuck in the profit and loss, the quality control, the purchasing. We've had the worst flu season we've ever experienced in our history of business. I have not had a full staff since we returned January 5th from the holidays. We've had 1 to 4 people out sick, and it's crazy. It's a domino effect. So when you're dealing with those things and, the customer service stuff, sometimes you lose sight a little bit of why you do what you do. And then you go back and you look at pictures, or you get a text message from somebody that is like, thank you so much, or an email of, you don't understand how this helped us. That's our why. It's Riley being able to make her 5 chairs in her lifetime. We didn't make a chair for Ainsley, which is fine. That's not what it's about. It's about the fact that she had a chair that worked for her, that you guys got to create all of those memories in.
Yeah, we were close to having one created. Like, we definitely talked about it a few times. We just could never get anything that, I think, gosh, man, like, we needed her to be prone. We needed her to lay down. Yeah. And it's interesting because you and I have worked together here recently with some kids, some college students, some engineers that are in Kansas, and they're going to college there. And they reached out to me 2 years ago and said, hey, we want to work to build a chair for Ainsley's Angels. And we have all the chairs that we need, and we have a partner that does that. But there's one chair that just doesn't exist on the market that I'd like to challenge y'all to build. It's a chair that allows someone like Ainsley to sit up at 90 degrees, but also to lay down at 180. Oh, and by the way, it has interchangeable big fat beach wheels and or regular 16-inch or 20-something inch bike wheels all in one unit. And they're like, oh my gosh, this is a challenge. So they worked on it for like 6 months. And then I'm like, hey, friends, I need to bring my ace in my pocket into this conversation. So I introduced you to them, and suddenly their minds were blown because you've been doing this for 17 years, making chairs, adapting chairs. So yeah, how cool was that, right? To talk to the next generation of engineers.
It was really cool. I feel like I frustrated them a little bit. I tried to challenge them to think outside of the box, and sometimes with engineers, and we've seen this, they really want it to work on paper. It has to work in their CAD system. It has to work within their design. But then let's take it to practical application. And that's where like Greg and I and the team sometimes will butt heads. I'm like, yeah, this is great, but
Yeah.
What's that Thomas Edison quote? Whatever. He's like, I didn't find 1,000 different ways to make a light bulb. I found 1,000 ways to not make a light bulb or something. And I probably butchered that. I know I butchered it, but that's the idea, right? It's like he didn't fail 1,000 times. He found 1,000 ways not to do something the way that he wanted to do it. And that's, I think, I'm not an engineer at all, but I think in my mind, that's how it is.
Mhm. It really is. We go from some basic drawings in concepts, and we've learned that at a certain point we stop the drawing and the concepts, and we do a prototype, and then we play with it.
Yeah, indeed. That, you learn from people who are in carpentry. They talk about measuring twice and cutting once. That whole idea of that stuff. When it comes to these engineer students, like they spent a whole year trying to develop this chair, and when it's all said and done, Terry, an update for you, they didn't accomplish the objective. So the college brought me back, and I'm actively engaged with the next year's cadre of
I love
engineers,
it.
and they picked up where the previous one left off to a point. And I'm happy to say that they're in building. So I think the plan is for them to turn over everything to us. And if we love this thing, that's the beauty of the relationship we've built. I'll be like, Terry, I got all the deets. Here's the CAD. What is it? The CAD file. Build this adaptive star. Like. You know what I mean? Like that's making it really simple, but that's the collaborative nature of the next generation of minds wanting to do good. The current generation of minds have done good. How do you bring them together? Really cool. Really cool.
Fantastic. I love it. I'm excited.
One of the things I've always wondered is like, what does Adaptive Star's facility, warehouse, manufacturing site, whatever it look like? Not from a like a organization perspective or anything, but like when you mentioned something that you're making daily, like my brain's like there's an assembly line, and there's X chairs go out or like X components. Is that like, do you guys have to or plan to make like X number of bottoms of this chair a day or back panels, or like what's the, dare I say, the flow of production like, or does it vary every day?
You're very much on the right path. It does change. So we have a team of 23 people. And we have 2 separate facilities. And within those 2 facilities, it's almost like 4 facilities. So everything comes in a raw stick of tubing, whether it's aluminum or steel, the diameter just varies depending upon what we're making. We have a prep team that goes through and preps all those parts. They're QC checked. They go to the welders. Everything we do is in a subcomponent. So when it comes out of the welding booth in the subcomponents, they're QC checked. They go to an offsite powder coater. They come back, and then they come to, so all of that happens in Greg's facility. Attached to Greg's facility is an entire sewing department, which is, they share a common wall. But we have a team of seamstresses that are in doing all of the standard stuff every day, doing the custom stuff every day. And then all of those finished goods come to my facility, which is where all of the assembly, final quality control, and the packaging goes. So we do have a pseudo assembly line. Most of is starting finish. So only if our inventory is off are we doing just a single subcomponent. Most of the time it's an entire chair start to and then it's added into inventory, and then we're picking and pulling and shipping out every day.
What's first off, I like that Greg's in a different facility. You're like, you go over there, I'll be over here. I'll see you at dinner, but you stay out of my way. What's the average time from when that first team goes and starts prepping the raw material to a Axiom racer shipped?
An Axiom racer. So If you took all of that time and you condensed it down, really it's about 2 days. But that's not how it happens because we make them in bulk. So like we'll make 100 sides for the 50 chairs. And then we'll make 100 or 50 platforms and then 50 backs. And then they will, unless we break them up. So in your situation, so that we're not waiting that length of time for all of those, we'll break them up in like sets of 10, sets of 20, and we'll do all those component parts. And then they'll go to paint, then they'll come back. And then we don't even assemble them all at one time. We'll assemble them in batches, have them boxed up and ready to go.
Yeah, the boxing is impressive. I was in California at Surf City last month, unboxing 2 chairs, and I'm 100% confident it took me double the time to unbox, unwrap than it did put together. So that your wrapping team is, man, I hope they don't have like kids that they're wrapping birthday and Christmas presents for, because they're never going to get into those things.
It's funny.
And
I was gonna say it's funny you said that, Joe, because like there were times where you've learned a lot over the last 15 years about how to ship a chair, right, Terry? I mean, that's all intentional, these wrapping of these chairs. And today I'm with Joe. It takes me an hour just to get all the shrimp wrap off, but I'm grateful for it. I'm like, dude, this chair is here, it's intact and nothing's scratched and it's ready to go. So yeah, I get it.
And it's funny in our facility where we do all the assembly and the packaging and the shipping, our team lead, her name is Deanna, and she's this little 5 foot tiny little girl. She's all of 21 years old. I've known her, oh gosh, her mom is one of our seamstresses, and has worked with us for going on 10 years now. And so I've known her a lot, half her life. And she's just this meek little girl, but let me tell you what, you don't do something the way that it needs to be done, she has you go back and redo it. Me included. She's like, Terry, if we're short staffed, I'll be on the shop floor helping. And she's like, no, 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 no. This is how you need to do this so it doesn't get damaged.
Skills. Yeah, I mean the UPS. I mean, yeah, if you work for UPS, we're not bashing you here, but like you're taking a box that is dimensions of, I don't know, a small human, and you're bringing it from Washington State all the way to, I don't know, pick a city, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. How many people are touching that box and moving that box and all, and when it gets to the destination, there's an expectation that it's not going to be broken.
Right.
And I will say, y'all have come a long way over the years in getting chairs to places safely.
Thank you. We work really hard at it. We really try to learn from past experiences, and we don't know everything. We're learning something every day.
Yeah, I second that, like growth in the packing and shipping thing. And it's great because like in that situation, that was a Saturday that I was unboxing chairs and they had to roll Sunday. So there wasn't like, lead time to make sure everything was good, but because of the professionals you are, everything was good. We had no issues.
Thank you. That's good to know.
Well, I mean, and that's kind of, tying into the shipping piece. We talked about the adrenaline earlier, and now what we call the AAA, the Ainsley's Angels version of the adrenaline. There were some key things that we wanted. One was like the telescoping handle to be able to now go even further than the original adrenaline. Another one, though, had to do with shipping, because when you shipped me that first chair, it came freight. It had to be in a big old freight truck. And I'm like, Terry, that's not economical for us. We can't invest in these at $400 per chair for shipping. And you can't like do that. So especially at Massive. So your engineers found a way to make the AAA fold just like an Axiom Racer. And we're only in our first 20 chairs or so. And we've learned a lot just in those chairs, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we went around and around and around, and they're like, well, this is what we can do. Like, no, it's got to get in this box. We have to have it in this box. How do we get there? And so there were a lot of evolutions to be where we're at today.
Yeah, and the first couple of chairs out the gate, they go in these boxes, they show up at the destination, and we're banging our head on the wall, we meaning me and you and the ambassador, because it's got a damaged part. Well, of
Yep.
course, and it took me a while to kind of take a deep breath and realize, of course, the first couple of chairs are damaged. I mean, think about all the years that it took to get to where the Axiom Racer gets shipped and comes with no damage. So to not have issues, but I bring that up to say this. I don't know if I've ever had better customer service from a business than you.
That means a
I
lot.
can text
Thank
you at 5 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon and be like, we need this in Biloxi by Tuesday at noon. And then I'm done talking because Terry and her team, they just get it done. And that's an extreme example, but it goes to the heart of your availability, my access to you, and the way and how responsive you are. And I take this time publicly to just say bravo, bravo Zulu, because it's really impressive. It really is.
Thank you very much. It's really important to us. It's important that when you call, you talk to a human, you're not on a voice tree. It's important that you have access to us. Um, we are dedicated to the work that we do, and the community that we serve needs us. So you said something years ago, if not me, who?
I have said that aloud. I should be clear. I got to give proper credit to First Lieutenant Travis Mannion, who passed away on April 29th, 2007 due to sniper fire. But before he went to Iraq on that deployment, he went to an Eagles game, and his brother-in-law was going to push him down the big steps so that Travis wouldn't have to go back to Iraq. And he was joking as he went to push him, and Travis looked back at him and said, "Hey man, if you push me down those stairs, like if not me, then who is going to go take this group of Marines back to Iraq?" And that has become the mantra of the Travis Mannion Foundation. So yes, I have said that, but I also want to pause and give proper credit where it goes. But yes, go ahead. If not me, then who, Terry?
Yes, and we've really adopted that. And I love the Travis Mannion Foundation and what they stand for and the work that they do. And I was not aware of them before you, so thank you for, making us aware. Um, eh, we've really become known as when everybody else is telling you no, we will do our darndest to figure it out. Whether it's
Powerful.
positioning or equipment on board or a complete one-off chair. A lot of our products have come to be because they didn't exist and somebody needed them. So it just means the world to us.
And Joe, if all goes like in the past few years, Terry
Yeah.
is in for a
I
treat.
know what you're
at
gonna say.
Charity. Go ahead, man.
We share a wall, and the wall being a piece of tarp, basically, with Travis Mannion Foundation at Marine Corps Marathon Charity Hill. So we are right next to them. They have some runners that push every year, and we have a lot of Rooster being a Spartan, and just the relationship that has built since Rooster went through that program a couple of years ago. It only made sense for us to be right next to them and give them a hard time, and they give us a hard time, and it's great.
Oh, I love it.
Isn't that
I
cool?
love it. I'm
I
so
know, right?
excited.
Being excited. Only for $5,000 more, you can talk to them on race day. I'm joking. Yeah, I had to. I was having fun with that. That joke is not going to go over well. In my head, it was a really good joke. Sean and Seamus, what do you want to say about like that relationship? They ran across the country. Adaptive Star was the chair provider, and then they decided to run down the Mississippi River. Like, yeah, what do you got on that?
I mean, the Axiom Pulse came to be because it's what Sean and Seamus needed.
How
It
about
was
that?
incredible. And then we donated one to a family at the end in New Jersey. That was awesome. It's a few of those chairs, not a lot of them, but for some people, it's exactly what they need. And now they roll on an Axiom Arrow. So, and I mean, and who can tell Seamus no? Really? I mean, what an incredible young man.
Yeah, he's been on the podcast at least twice. One of them was just him and his dad on an interview, and then we had a chance to go to the starting line. I think it's episode 50 at Boston when he ran his very first Boston, and we went on the show. We did the show, and you got to listen to it. It's so cool. You got to watch it on YouTube. Together with Shell Podcast, episode 50 YouTube. He captures like the Boston Marathon morning experience. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool.
He's got, he's going to school for, I think it's computer engineering, but engineering at large. And he has aspirations to work for NASA, I do believe, to also contribute some of his intellectual power to Adaptive Star once he
Oh,
gets out of college.
we absolutely love it. There's nothing better than for us to be able to talk with a writer that can let us know what worked and what didn't and what they liked and all the things.
Yeah. And he does that, has done that. You're
Oh,
gonna get
absolutely. Yeah. It's
that's
invaluable.
Joe. We've been at it an hour, so let's flip it your way, man. See where you want to take us in your final thoughts here before we let Teri take us home with her final thoughts of the day.
Yeah, grateful of the relationship that's been built for over a decade now. And I second Rooster with the customer service. And that's one of those things that a- across all businesses and entities like that it's unfortunately, I think it's dwindling faster than it needs to be. And a lot of that has to do with AI and automation, which I get. We need to leverage that as times evolve, but also I don't know who I called the other day. I want to say it was USAA and insurance company, and I couldn't get a person. And then it just gets angry. You just start yelling into the phone, representative, agent, human, bad words, turn it off, deal with this tomorrow. So yeah, the ability to speak to someone and have a conversation about an issue is huge. So bravo for that. There's been a race that I saw you at since TLM, but it's been a long time. So now, looking forward to seeing you in person again in October. And again, for all our listeners, that's the Marine Corps Marathon, 51st running in our nation's capital, the last weekend in October. Joe at Ainsley'sAngels.org is how you can get more information. Ainsley'sAngels.org/run with the Marines. Link in the description, all the things, comment, and we'll see you there.
Yeah, that's perfect, Joe. As we wrap out this episode, Teri, obviously I extend my gratitude for your willingness to come on and have a chat with us, but also all the years of support and this new chapter that we're entering where we're doing a sponsorship. That's really special and neat. What I always ask our guests to do is, if there's anything that you've forgotten to cover or something that you'd like to say, but also to kind of leave us with some parting words. So take your time. There's no rush here, but you have the microphone, and Joe and I are going on mute.
Thank you. First of all, again, thank you very much. It's been an honor to watch the growth and evolution of Ainsley's Angels over the last 10 years has been incredible. To be a part of it is really an honor. I'm excited to see where the next 10 years takes us and how our community grows and how we can help more people roll together.
We're done. This was good.
Yeah, we're done here.
Find your people, and if they make you feel sexy, even better.